Okay, so I'll call this meeting to order. And we have the minutes of December 16th and December 18th.
I'll move to approve the minutes of December 16th and December 18th.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. We have to, moving on, ratify warrants 14 and 14P. And then we have the Capital Fund and Conservation Commission number 2.
I'll move that we ratify warrants 14, 14P, Capital Fund number 4, and Conservation Commission number 2.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Oh, so you go ahead and say, Zeke, what it's for, and then I do have a couple questions.
Okay, warrant 14 was for a total of $23,130.47. And most of that was going payroll transfers, a few odds and ends for the highway department. Let's see, but the big item was a partial payment of the passive insurance. And that was for $14,151. So any other discussion?
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify about the passive insurance. You said it's a partial payment,
Right.
and that's in what kind of insurance? What's the insurance for?
That covers, I believe, the municipal buildings and probably other sundry items that
But
probably.
it's physical things. It's not health insurance. It's
No,
physical.
not health insurance. Our vehicle insurance, that sort of
Liability,
liability, right?
workers' comp.
Okay,
Okay, great. Thank you.
okay. Any more discussion?
I do have one question about the payroll. So has Lee been working a lot of overtime?
They all had a lot of overtime this last payroll because they had the big storm.
Right. I don't know. Lee's just seemed higher,
Oh, he had a huge reimbursement.
Okay.
They had to buy pieces for the outdoor boiler, and he put it on his credit card. It was like $151, I think.
That makes sense. Thank you. Okay. That explains it.
Great. Sharp eye, Geraldine. Any other discussion? So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. All right. Well, now's time for visitors and public comments. If you'd like to bring up something that's not on the agenda.
No, I'm just interested on the budget when you get to that.
Okay. All right, then let's see. An update on the covered bridge repair. Terry, do you want to?
Yeah, he's talked to Mike, and hopefully it'll be sometime after the first of the year. They're ordering the parts for it to start it up, to do the repair, but no set date of when they're going to actually do it.
Yeah, and David, did you get in touch with Mike Renault?
I talked with Lee to get his contact info, and Lee told me that Mike is not available until after the 1st.
Okay,
So
all right.
I will get him early next week. Yeah.
Great. Okay, Charlotte, you had.
We did get the reimbursement from VLCT for $48,500. I think that came in yesterday.
Okay, great.
Right.
Good. Okay. Any other road foremen?
Just that they've been working on the washouts from the Christmas flood there. The two biggest roads were Camp Arden and Roll Road that got hit. So I put in, as you saw, I put in for all the information to go up to the SEOC for VM for any reimbursement should we ever get any, but that was taken care of. The only other thing, so they're just grading and doing what they can, getting ready for these, hopefully not sleet tonight, The other thing is there is 2 trucks down. The International's down needing injectors. And the 1 ton is down that needed welding for back body work. So they're 2 down, so they're gonna be a little short. So I think Lee's gonna come in tonight to start the salting, and then Tyler will come in the morning at 4 to salt. Should it be freezing rain? So not sure, but nothing where we could get any reimbursement from any insurance on that, or so it's just really just breakdowns.
Yeah.
Can you explain the claims for the storm? How does that work, and what sort of things are covered under the policy?
That'll come down from the state.
Yes.
We had to give them a rough idea of how much it was. And
Yeah.
then they'll take it all up there, and then eventually it'll work its way back down again.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then it might only be a certain percentage, may not, it just depends on how much damage, how they go through it.
And the state will allocate some money to be distributed between the various communities.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
not. We meet with the someone from the transportation department, and we set a threshold. And if we exceed this emergency threshold, then we're eligible for reimbursement from the state if we meet certain criteria. So,
Thank you.
So
Well-
Charlotte, could you say again what the reimbursement was for the covered bridge damage?
I think it was $48,500.
Okay, that's all. I didn't need an exact amount.
Yeah.
Great.
okay, all right. Let's see, is there anything under correspondence for information that you'd like to discuss? Okay, moving on, there's nothing under correspondence for discussion and or action. Under new business, we have, we need to set the date for the informational meeting on the town warning for the Australian ballot. So, and it has to be, is it 10 days?
Yes.
Yes.
Not less than 10 days before the meeting, but
And I think not more than 30, right?
10 to 30.
yeah, great. So, looking at the calendar, what date looks good to everyone?
Is there a day of the week that would be better than another? I mean, would we want to do it on a weekend, or do we want it during a week? If it's during a week, do we want Wednesday because that's usually when the select board meets? Does that matter?
It'd be, let's see, I guess everyone would be zooming in, so it'd be a live opportunity. I guess we have to figure out, what would we be going up against? Let's see.
And what are we working back from? The
Football game.
2nd of March?
Yeah, 2nd of March.
Okay.
So the 20th, if we were to pick the 20th of February,
Saturday.
yeah.
Yep. It's,
Oh,
that is that's President's Day weekend. I don't.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
No, I think the weekend before is President's Day weekend. Valentine's Day is the
Oh.
14th.
Monday, February the 15th is President's Day, I think.
Martin Luther King's birthday, actual.
Valentine's Day is the 14th, but
Do we want to do it right after a regular select board meeting?
that'd be the 17th, right?
No, it would be the 10th.
The 10th, sorry.
Right, let's see.
Because I think the 24th is only 7 days prior to
Yeah.
town meeting,
Right.
so.
Yeah. Okay, the 17th,
No, the 10th.
10th.
oh, 10th. Okay,
How long are we expecting? I mean, I know we can't say for sure, but how long are we expecting it to last? Like,
well, let's see. Who, I would say, I have always thought, I thought we were going to have a quick meeting last March, and it didn't turn out that way. So I don't feel like I can, I could feel more confident telling you who's going to win the presidential election next time round than whether this will be.
This is the second page.
An
and I don't-
informational
I think that's
meeting.
the third page.
So people can give their opinions and ask questions, but we won't be taking any votes
right,
so that
It-
will,
really just for clarification
Yeah.
purposes.
I think I at least set 2 hours out.
Yeah,
schedule.
that's what I was thinking, Terry.
say, yeah. Okay, so
Oh.
you want to set February 10th. Maria, how's that work for you?
That's fine, yep.
And it would be after the select board meeting? Or just instead of? Or at the same time?
No, we would still have to do we could make it a shorter meeting. We would still have to do minutes and warrants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we could make the rest of the agenda the informational meeting.
Oh, okay, so it would actually be a select board meeting.
We would probably recess our
Okay,
Right,
regular meeting and start a informational meeting and then come back and adjourn.
yeah.
or
right.
consider. Yeah. Okay, let's do February 10th. What time do you want to start?
6?
Well, 6, well, we do our regular meeting at 6 and to
Yeah.
6:30, and then maybe it would start at 6:30.
Yeah.
The information, and then if it goes 2 hours, it would go to 8:30, which doesn't sound too late.
Two
Okay.
hours, yeah.
Yep,
Give it-
okay.
Yeah, okay.
Is it okay to start an informational meeting at 6:30? Is it better to start it on the hour? Is that kind of gets in people's minds more easily? Does that matter?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And,
Okay.
and this, I don't think there's anything in statute that says, we have to start at a certain time, whereas a public hearing
Right.
has statutory time.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Okay.
February 10th, 6:30.
Okay.
Gail, will you tell that to Lou, please, and write it down for him?
Yes, actually, he's sort of listening to.
Okay. Let's see, do we need a motion? Want to vote on this? Or it seems like this is just a consensus here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's fine. I don't think we
Okay.
need a motion.
Okay. Next on the agenda is to discuss proposed budget feedback, if there is any. And we did get a few emails, one from Paul Normando, which was very thorough and detailed, and another from Maeve Jenks, who was looking for us to, she's concerned that she's not seeing the sheriff around as much as she remembers. And we have a couple people. We have our treasurer. We have a few guests. How about we open the broadcast waves to anyone who'd like to make a comment? If any. Yes, Gail Sorensen.
Yeah, I have a question on the select board, the increase in wages for clerical and select board assistant. That's showing now $8,320. Can you explain what's behind that, what the plan is?
Yeah, Maria, do you want to take that one?
Sure. My hope is to step away from the position and fill it with find somebody that will fill the position, and possibly work about 10 hours a week, including meetings, and have office time as well.
So when you say you are thinking of withdrawing from the position, do you mean as select board member?
No, just strictly the select board assistant.
Maria's been doing both, Gail. Maria took over as select board assistant and has been doing that in addition to being on the select board. She's been taking minutes and writing them up and doing a variety of things that a select board assistant would do. But the select board could use, you know, there are other things that would help things run smoothly if we had someone who wasn't also on the select board.
And
So you're saying that Maria's going to withdraw from being the select board assistant,
Correct.
and hopefully you're going to hire someone else. to
right.
do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
We've also
Yeah.
been talking about the possibility of this person, unless someone else comes along, possibly filling in for as the delinquent tax collector,
Mhm.
which is not a lot of hours per year, but a responsibility that Charlotte's been sort of filling in, and I don't think she'd like to continue if we could find someone else. Okay, I see a nod there. And then we have the health officer, another position that could be filled. And if we, I guess it's called the trifecta, you could have
Animal control.
the animal control officer.
Okay.
So they're positions that we've had difficulty filling in the past. So
You may combine some of them if you find
Yeah.
the right person with the talents and interests.
yes, and
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so does that mean that the new select board assistant would pick up some additional duties perhaps that Lori has been filling? Like Lori puts all the information on the internet. And if it's dealing with select board, that maybe the new select board assistant would be doing that instead of Lori doing that?
it depends whether Lori wants to continue with that, but that'd be something we'd have to discuss with her.
Okay, right. That was my prime question. I'll turn it over to someone else and maybe pipe back in. We'll see.
All right, sure. Charlotte, was there anything you wanted to?
Yeah, I would like to address the fact that the select board has decided against giving any raises for town employees and elected officials. We've all had a bad year with a lot of challenges, as you all know, and I'm not really familiar with the challenges that the road crew has encountered, but I would like to speak for Lori and Eliza, our assistant town clerk, and myself. And it's really been quite a year, and Lori started out closing the town office to people coming in and out for a couple of weeks. And then we opened it back up for appointment only. And that was a really good thing because there are 9 Vermont towns that are currently being sued by a title company in Connecticut because they stopped allowing access to their records. So that has not happened in Dummerston. Everybody's been able to get what they wanted to get. There's, been some tight jockeying with appointments, but all in all, it's worked very smoothly. And so not long after, this all started, we had the primary in August, and that was a big election. And then we went into collecting taxes, and then we had the fall election, which Eliza and Lori had to work, and they had no choice. I had to collect taxes. I had to go to the bank. I had to go to the post office. And we have all had a lot of exposure that we probably wouldn't have wanted to have it, if we had a choice. But we've bucked up and we've gone in every day. We've tried to work. We don't have a ton of people in the office. Anybody who's been in there knows that there's really no way to stay 6 feet apart from each other. There's no way to do social distancing in that office. I have not worked when the listers have been there because that makes 5 people in the office, which really makes it hard. I've worked my hours around appointments that Lori has had, and with Eliza, it's Eliza, Lori, and I, so the 3 of us, and we managed to stay pretty far apart. But I feel like the 3 of us have not missed a beat, and we've gone in spite of all the risks involved, and that we're owed an explanation.
We're trying to level fund the budget.
I get that.
Easy explanation.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Charlotte, I really appreciate hearing everything that you've just said, because even as involved as select board members are relative to every resident in town, we don't know the ins and outs of your experience. So I really appreciate that. Our decision to level fund salaries does not have anything to do with whether people deserve a raise or not. It has nothing to do with deserving. Certainly you all deserve a raise. We're putting this budget together, thinking about town residents and their situations, which we don't know the ins and outs of, but we can only imagine that there are a good percentage of Dummerston residents that are suffering financially in some way that they wouldn't be if it weren't for COVID. And so we're thinking that, especially because this is a year where we're going to do an Australian ballot, where there's not even a chance to discuss the budget once it's approved. There's not going to be any town meeting where people get to challenge anything. That our best bet is to put together a budget that looks like what people approved in person last year.
And it's very helpful to hear that. It's disheartening to find out sort of secondhand that that was a decision that you all made, and nobody really had the courtesy to come and talk to us about it. And we purposely don't go on when you're discussing salaries, because it seems sort of awkward, I guess would be the best word, situation. But it's not mentioned, your decisions are not mentioned, for salaries are not mentioned in the minutes of the meetings. There's really no way for us to ever find out until the final budget comes out what your decisions were. And that's been a chronic problem since I've been here. So, for 10, 11 years now. But I appreciate your response, and I agree that we don't know how people are suffering, and we all are. I mean, it's been awful.
Yeah, you're really pointing to something interesting, though, that I haven't taken in my 6 years on the select board, that, it's a process piece, that the select board sets the budget. Typically, we have in the past met with committees and talked with committees, and, committee amounts are pretty small, but that conversation is always valuable. We learn things that we didn't know, and committees certainly learn more about the select board and our experience and process. But you're right, town employees and elected officials are another group that we could, have a more proactive relationship with when we're deciding on these things. I will say, though, that in quote, deciding, we're trying to be very forthcoming, transparent, and straightforward about, well, this is our starting place. Come to us if you want to challenge this or have input for us. And so that's exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
One of the other considerations, I think, other than the desire for level funding, is the fact that municipalities across the country many are having extremely difficult times during this difficult time during this year. We in Dummerston have not had to lay people off, have not had to reduce salaries. Those things have happened in various places, and we continue to fund the health program fully and so forth. So looking at the whole thing, we thought that the level funding in this particular year was a wise and appropriate and prudent decision.
Yeah, I agree that lots of communities are facing challenges, but Dummerston is understaffed compared to any other municipality, even of the same size. Many of them have part-time assistant treasurers, or they have, 2 full-time and a full-time town clerk and a full-time assistant town clerk. And towns our size, not, it's not that, I forgot my train left. But anyway, no, I understand it. It's nice to hear that you don't feel like we don't deserve raises, because sometimes just a little atta girl or a pat on the back is very much appreciated.
I can't speak for what the next board will do, Charlotte, but I think it sounds like a good idea. Maria's been posting or with Lori's help, putting our draft budget up on the website.
Right.
We started doing that. Probably be I would probably suggest to the next board that they continue that, whether we're Zooming or not, just so people have access to that information as it's being,
Right.
Going through the process of putting together the budget. So
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
yeah, thanks for that suggestion, Charlotte. Gail Sorensen.
Yeah, I wonder if you might consider for existing employees to add just the cost of living increase for this year, even though your goal is to level fund. I think the cost of living increase is 1 to 2%, and Charlotte probably has that information or could get it. But I don't know the implication on that figure.
Yeah,
because
1.3%.
1.3.
Okay,
We did
so
consider that.
what would the implication be if, quote, all town employees got just the cost of living increase this year? And I don't know, how much that would affect your attempt to level fund. But I think that might be one rationale that would be easily acceptable if you chose not to level fund, based on what Charlotte is sharing. And I'd like to ask you to at least to come up with a figure on that, if the board feels that's appropriate to at least review.
Yeah, I think we did, Gail. I don't know, Maria, if you have that at hand, but I think that, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, other select board members, but for us to do anything but level fund, I think we'd really need to know that there was a strong sentiment among town residents to do such a thing. If somehow the budget gets voted down, it's going to really put a cramp in the process of things and having things move forward. The select board's been working on the budget since
Thanks.
October.
Mhm.
And so if in March, this budget gets turned down and the new year starts in July, that new select board is thrown into,
Turmoil.
continuing work on the budget. So we're trying to do everything possible to present a budget that people will vote up. So if we're gonna increase people's taxes by any small substantial amount, we're going to need to know that a majority of town residents are supportive of it.
Well, it's hard to know small, substantial, that,
I know, I'm
okay.
sorry.
And without that information being available of what the cost would be to the town. And I don't even know if that kind of support would be helpful to the employees or not.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. Jean Newell, Ann Black, and I think Lori Frechette are also.
Right.
Does anyone else like to
Yeah.
comment on the budget?
Yeah, this is Lee Chamberlain. I would if I could.
Lee Chamberlain, okay. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay. Yes, I think Gail's suggestion would be great. I did contact 2 other towns when I found this out that we weren't getting any raises. And one is planning on doing their normal raise. And these are towns that are beside us, not towns across the country. It's local towns. And then another town, the 2.4 was put into the budget, but it has not got approved by the select board yet. So it's put in there tentatively, and then it has to get approved. So it's not a guaranteed type thing. But both towns were given raises, and those are the only 2 towns I contacted because they were neighboring towns. I think it's pretty should be pretty easy to justify a 1.2 or 1.5% raise. Everybody's been working, same thing through the whole COVID thing. We've taken 1 extra day off because of it. That's it. I think everybody's managing. We have to be there on Christmas. It looks like the day after New Year's, we're going to be working. I think I just think that to not give a raise unless you're going to kind of figure on next year giving double the raise, we're finding ourselves, falling behind the other towns again. I think the taxes, what I've heard, have been coming in fine. It's not like a drop in people can't pay their taxes. And I think a small raise would do a lot, and and it should be able to be justified. There's not many people who aren't going to give themselves raises this year, or aren't going to get raises. I think that's my opinion. I believe it's most everyone who works at the highway garage.
Thanks, Lee.
Lee, this is Maria. I've got a question for you.
Yep.
Can you tell me what 2 towns you contacted?
That would be Putney and Newfane.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Would anyone else who's in on the call or like to make any comments?
Well,
Gail Sorensen?
Yeah, we just did a couple of calculations here, and is it 1.3?
1%.
A 1% increase even for cost of living for the town office employees would come to $637.
And then
And for the for the highway employees, it would come to $2,137.
And then,
So,
yeah, just the FICA and
Medi, retirement.
Social Security, retirement, all of these also. So
Go up a couple dollars.
it's a little more.
yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, we'll do the calculation, Jean. Gail, it's a great suggestion. We'll put that information.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
and-
And I think that's all we're asking that at this point, that you consider it and provide the information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments on the budget? Okay. Let's see.
Thank you. Thank you.
Charlotte.
Okay. Yes, thanks for everyone's comments. Let's see, is there any other new business you'd like to discuss? Okay. So let's see. We have been meeting on Fridays to work on budgets. What do you, we thought we might skip this coming Friday. What are your thoughts now? Any thoughts?
I think it might be a good idea to revisit at least. Connect.
Mhm.
Okay,
So would we end the select board meeting and start a work session, or would we just continue it as part of this meeting, Zeke?
we could continue, end our regular meeting and spend some time on the budget. We could also meet on Friday if that's what members.
That's New Year's Day. Sorry.
Oh, we've been meeting on Fridays for,
And I don't want to meet on New Year's Day.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not in
No.
favor of meeting on New Year's Day myself.
Okay.
I don't think we would be able to properly warn it with the office
Right.
closed.
Damn it.
Yeah.
right, oh, that's right, yeah.
Right.
Hold on, I'm trying to get
Right.
out of it.
We Haven't done it. Okay. So you want to spend a little time tonight.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine with me. I'm happy.
So we could adjourn our regular meeting.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we adjourn our regular meeting and enter a budget work session.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Great.